So next is with respect to other levers used to make sure that the housing element is complied with. Governor sued Huntington Beach, and I don't believe in peaking too early. So as I sit here, I got a letter from the governor saying that the governor's office is going to engage in a conversation with City of Huntington Beach. Great, because I don't think lawsuits are the way to most effectively resolve this controversy. So I'm really pleased to see that. What other cities are sort of in the sights of the governor's office in terms of filing suit to be in compliance?
Speck in population who, if sanctioned, would have almost zero impact. It's kind of a delicious irony of him singling out Wheatland. Huntington Beach, I don't like it either. But Wheatland, my goodness.
Well, we'll see. Is Wheatland in your sights?
I won't speak to any pending litigation, but I will connect it back to this, right? The planning grants being proposed are not tied to having a valid housing element in compliance. In fact, they can be used to get into compliance. So there's a real long, runway, right, to make sure we can help any jurisdiction get compliant. Already, within the first couple months of the governor's term, we have engaged in a lot of discussions with those jurisdictions, very proactively trying to help them get into compliance. One that was on the initial list of 47 non-compliant jurisdictions that existed at the start of the governor's term has already come back into compliance through those discussions. We expect many others will. We've been providing quite a bit of technical assistance, and the governor's interest is for those who want the help, let's provide it. And these planning grants are, putting that forth, right? Hey, whatever you need to get to be more housing friendly, to have policies that provide more developer certainty, to reduce regulatory burden, let's take care of those so that when the market exists for housing in your jurisdiction, you are ready to go and open for business to do housing. So there's quite a bit, and that is the new part of this process, I would note. These process improvements that could be a part of the incentive payments are very significant. It's not something that we have funded at the state level before in terms of actual planning dollars to deal with maybe CEQA streamlining at the local level, specific planning, posted fee schedules, providing those things that developers need so that communities maybe that didn't make sense, didn't pencil out to build housing before, now do, right? Because when I look at that as a developer, I say, okay, that is a right place to go develop, whether it be at market rate or even at an affordable level. So that is the thesis behind the front loading of a planning grant at both the local jurisdiction and the regional level, is to get ready so that this kind of short-term catalytic increased production program can help, but also long-term, right? If you put those policies in place, theoretically, right, you're more open for business, you're ready to develop more on a long-term basis. And so I didn't want that to go without mentioning. So those resources, in addition to all the stuff we're of course already doing with jurisdictions, Wheatland, we are actually going to and sitting down with them with the maps and saying, here's the sites that you could do, you can get compliant. We're doing that with a number of jurisdictions, and like I said, we have already gotten some back into compliance. Certainly, it did light a fire under some jurisdictions that had been non-responsive. That's without question. But we even have a number of housing elements in for review. So we're optimistic that number will reduce significantly.
So just as another point, I've made my living as a litigator, and so there's a time and a place. I am concerned that lots of taxpayer money may be wasted. I suppose it's not wasted if you're the actual litigator, but wasted in litigation. So to the extent that, again, we can come to a resolution without resorting to litigation, that's what I hope we can do. I'll conclude by commending the governor for agreeing to have this conversation with Huntington Beach, and perhaps we can avoid wasting taxpayer money. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe add in the, you probably have seen the governor held a bunch of summits with the mayors of non-compliant jurisdictions. And, what came up there, and something that we were certainly already aware of, and it's important to note, even notwithstanding state action, jurisdictions that don't have compliance on housing are subject to other third-party action, and that is actually quite more pervasive at the local level of third parties suing those cities. So there is a vulnerability there of being non-compliant that often rears its head through litigation, but not from the state even, but from local groups.
Thank you, Madam Chair.